Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is the very first video we are doing a product review. So I get asked questions all the time about what type of milk is best, what muesli bar should I buy, what bread is the best one? And I get it. It's really confusing, particularly when in this busy, fast-paced world that we live in, you've got maybe 15, 20 minutes to duck in and out of the shops. You might have a couple of kids hanging off you. We need some quick, easy choices. So in my product review YouTube videos, I'm going to do milks first, we're going to do muesli bars next, and then I want you guys to leave me some comments in terms of the products that you want me to review. So this is not sponsored by any means. It is purely just me grabbing a couple of different milks off the shelf at my local Woolworths and seeing which ones are appropriate for you guys or would fit you best for your needs. So welcome to the first product reviews on what type of milk is best. Alrighty, so let me first start off by saying no one type of milk is going to be better for everybody. So I'm not going to end this video with this is the best type of milk. So let me preface this entire video with that, because there is no one best type of milk, because we are all different. As individuals, we are all different. Somebody who has a goal of fat loss will need a different type of milk. Somebody who has a goal of muscle gain will need a different type of milk. Somebody who has a goal, or somebody who has some severe allergies might need a different type of milk. Somebody who is vegan for ethical reasons might need a different type of milk. So there are many different types of milks, and my goal is to make you as a consumer as informed as possible. The goal isn't to say this is the most superior milk out of all of them, because we're all different and we all have different needs. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 types of milks in front of me today. As I said, I just randomly grabbed a different type of milk off the shelves at my local supermarket, and we're going to review them today. So they will vary depending on the brand. So if I'm talking about almond milk, there are multiple different brands. If I'm talking about oat milk, there are multiple different brands. So I've just chosen one brand. I've tried to give you guys a variety of different brands, but I want to, educate and empower you to be able to turn over the nutrition label, have a look for yourself and understand what type of milk might be best for you and your goals. So let's go through one by one all the different types of milk, and then we'll do a bit of a comparison around what you should be looking for in terms of a milk. So the first one, we're going to do skim milk. So I didn't grab full cream milk. My bad. I probably should have compared just the regular skim and full cream to start with. So I just grabbed skim milk because that's probably the top one that I recommend for my clients, because I work with females who are actively trying to lose weight. So from a calorie saving perspective, we're going to save a few calories there to let them eat more food. I'm all about volume eating. So I've just compared skim milk today, but it's very, similar to full cream milk nutritionally. It's just got some more calories in it and obviously some more fat in it as well. So in terms of skim milk, this can be a great option for some people. It's not so much of a good option for other people. So a cup of skim milk, and we're just going to do all of these comparisons based on a cup of milk today, because when we compare things, the most important thing to do is to always compare similar products with the same amount. So I'm not going to compare a cup of skim milk to a couple of tablespoons of Milo, because they're different things. I'm not going to compare a cup of skim milk to a cup of cordial, because they're different things. And I'm not going to compare a cup of skim milk to a liter of oat milk, because it's a different volume. So we want to compare similar products, which we've got all milks here, or plant milks here, or some milks, some plant milks, and then we're going to compare a similar volume so that we're getting a light comparison, put it that way. So that's really important when you're comparing nutrition labels. Always compare via the 100 ml column or the 100 gram column, or a similar serving size, because if you're comparing 30 mils to 45 mils to a liter, you're going to get a different comparison. So that's probably the first thing to remember when you're comparing milks. And also with the ingredient list on product comparisons, ingredients are really important. So always don't even worry about the front of the marketing, because it can be helpful for if you, for example, have celiac disease and you need a gluten-free product, or if you or your child has a nut allergy and you want a nut-free product. Yes, that can be very helpful. But if you're looking purely for weight loss and fat loss, marketing is very confusing, and companies write a lot of misleading statements on their labels. So if your goal is purely health or weight loss, flip it over, look at the nutrition information panel and the ingredient list. They're your two most important things when it comes to product comparisons. So in terms of skim milk, the ingredients are ultra heat treated homogenized skim milk. One ingredient. That's how milk should be. very, very low ingredients. If you pick up a type of milk or plant milk and it's got about 30 different ingredients, I would be a little bit worried because that's very far removed from, how traditional milk really should be. So ingredients definitely matter. And with milk, we're definitely looking for, as minimal ingredients as possible. Now, a cup of skim milk, it's going to give us 90 calories with 9 grams of protein, 0.3 grams of fat, so basically no fat, and 12 grams of sugars. Now this one has 295 milligrams of calcium as well, which is really important. And for milks, calcium is definitely a nutrient that I absolutely look for. So that is roughly 37% of an adult's RDI in terms of calcium for each day. So the benefits I would see from skim milk are that it is pretty good in terms of calories. It's not the lowest in terms of our milks. It's also not the highest. The calcium is fabulous and the amount of protein is really good in a milk. So in terms of protein, as you would know from my fat loss video, it's really important for us metabolically. It helps us to be able to lose weight long term, helps us to be able to maintain our muscle mass, and it's also a nutrient that is very satiating. So it's very filling. It leaves us to feel full and satisfied after a meal. So in terms of milks, again, are you just adding a dash to your coffee or are you having a large coffee as a snack choice? Because if you're having a coffee which is based on milk as a snack choice, you want it to be somewhat filling so you're not looking for other things to go snacking on later. So protein is important from that perspective if you're someone who always feels hungry or your goal is muscle gain. So this is skim milk. Now, in terms of full cream milk, what I generally recommend for my clients is skim milk when they're thinking about fat loss because it's going to be lower calories. So a lot of people have concerns around skim milk because it's higher in sugar. So skim milk is higher in sugar than full cream milk, but they don't add extra sugar into the milk. Think about it this way. If I had let me give you an example. If I had a notebook and I had a pen and I had 50% notebook and 50% pen, if I took away my pen, I've now got 100% notebook. This is like the sugar in skim milk. Because we're taking out the fat, I didn't add any extra pens into my equation, I just took it out. I didn't add any notebooks in. I now have 100% of my notebook because I removed the pen. So the quantity has gone up because I've taken something out. Same deal with skim milk. So the sugar content is obviously a lot higher than full cream milk because we've taken out the fat content. We didn't dump a whole load of sugar in there. The sugar content is just more because the fat's been removed. So yes, full cream milk has lower sugar content and higher fat content, but it's actually a lot more calories because gram per gram, fat is more energy dense than what sugar or what carbohydrates are. So from a fat loss perspective, yes, we don't want too much sugar, but this is more naturally occurring sugars in milk, and 12 grams is really not a lot at all. So I think that for if your goal is fat loss, skim milk would probably be your better option. If your goal is just health or weight maintenance, or you purely just love the taste of full cream milk, absolutely go and drink full cream milk, totally fine. So the next milk we're going to review is soy milk. Okay, the next milk we are going to talk about is soy milk. So this is actually, again, not sponsored by Sanitarium, wish I was. This is the milk of my choice. So this is the one that I personally drink. My partner, or my husband, I should say, actually drinks skim milk. Not that it's that exact brand, like the Woolworths brand or anything, but his preference is skim milk. My preference is soy milk because I don't do well with too much dairy. And I love things like yogurt and cottage cheese. So I sort of use my lactose threshold for those products and go a lactose-free milk. So not saying that this is any better than other types of milk. Again, this is very much based on you and your requirements. Okay, so with this soy milk, there is obviously a normal soy milk, which is similar to like a full cream milk version, and then this is the light version. So I've chosen to do, again, the lower calorie version. You could, of course, if soy milk seems like a good milk for you, you could do the full cream version if your goal is weight gain or your goal is just general health, or you just prefer the taste of the full cream milk. Light is not always better. You don't have to go the low fat variety. So yeah, the light milk might not be the best option for some people, but it's just the one that I picked up at the supermarket. So again, there are many variants of soy milk. Soy milk is a great option if you are someone who needs a lactose-free milk, if you're somebody who, for ethical reasons, lives a vegan or a plant-based lifestyle, or you're someone who has like a cow's milk intolerance, or allergy. So soy milk is a good option. It's basically made from filtered water and soy protein and soybeans. So I like this brand because it is certified low FODMAP from Monash. So a low FODMAP diet can be helpful as a short-term diet for conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome. So it's definitely not recommended to start a low FODMAP diet yourself at home, always under the guidance of a registered dietitian or an accredited practicing dietitian. But this milk is great because it's good for people with, I guess, like more of those sensitive tummies, put it that way. So in terms of soy milk and its comparison, so again, we're going to compare about a cupful, so 250 mils. In this brand, we've got 113 calories, 8.5 grams of protein, so very similar protein-wise to milk. And we've got 300 milligrams of calcium, which again is around that 35% of the RDI. And in terms of sugars, we've got 5 grams of sugars per cup, and we've got 3.3 grams of fat. So the fat's a little bit higher than skim milk. The sugars are a little bit lower. Again, fat-sugar ratio, just based on the different macronutrients, one is not always better. Perhaps if you're a diabetic, you might prefer a little bit more fat, a little bit more less sugar. But if your goal is purely just fat loss, yes, macronutrients are important, but at the end of the day, it's really around your calorie consumption. So if one's down, such as it's got lower sugar, it's likely going to have more fat, or if one's got less fat, it's going to have more sugar in it. So it's sort of much of a muchness in that respect. A lot of us will very much vilify sugar as a bad thing, but we definitely need some natural sugars in our diet, and a little bit of added sugars is perfectly okay as well. Again, it really comes back to the amount that we're having every single day. And I really don't think that 10, 12 grams of sugar from a cup of milk is going to be what undoes you in terms of a healthy lifestyle. Definitely not. So I think that this is a great milk choice. Again, if you're someone with a sensitive tummy, if you're somebody, I do believe that this is gluten-free as well. Celiac, sensitive tummies, low lactose, vegan, I think that soy milk as a whole is very nutritionally similar to skim milk. So if you can't have normal cow's milk, or full cream milk, normal cow's milk, I very much recommend soy milk as probably my top preference, because it's very nutritionally similar to cow's milk. And it's also more brands, the majority of brands that I've seen have fortification as well. So it's very important to have it fortified in terms of things like calcium and vitamin D, because for a lot of people, particularly even in Australia, like I live in a sunshine state in terms of in Queensland, but a lot of Australia is very sunny as well, but we still have a huge prevalence of vitamin D deficiency. So really trying to get some fortified products, particularly within our milks, can be a really good option for a lot of people. So this is the light version of the soy milk. And then next we are going to do an almond milk. So the brand of almond milk that I picked up today is the Almond Breeze. Now this is only 40 calories, so I understand that a lot of people, and I have occasionally used this for my clients as well, will use almond milk from a calorie save perspective, and that's fine. But that's something that I will talk about in a second. But for this one, it's only 40 calories per cup of almond milk, and I specifically picked up an unsweetened one on purpose, because a lot of the brands that cafes and restaurants and coffee shops use are actually a sweetened type of almond milk. So from a calorie perspective, a lot of people think that they're saving a lot of calories by getting like an almond milk latte, but it's actually very similar to the calories in like skim milk, or even more sometimes, because it's sweetened, so it's got the extra sugar in there. So almond milk can be a great option, obviously not for those with like an almond allergy or anything like that, but a good option in terms of a plant-based milk for those who need it. For those who have sensitive tummies, problems digesting normal milk, can be a good option as well. But for me, I just don't find the taste is there with almond milk. I think it tastes like water, so I'm really not a fan of almond milk. It's not my preference, but if it is yours, if you love the taste of it, that can be absolutely fine as well. It is very low calorie. This brand is 40 calories per cup. 1.3 grams of protein, so very low protein when we compare it to our cow's milk and our soy milk. It's also got 3 grams of fat, and it's got 0.3 grams of sugar, so very low in sugar, and it has 200 milligrams of calcium. So this brand is a little bit better because it is fortified with calcium. I have seen some brands on the market that aren't fortified at all. I would definitely recommend avoiding brands that aren't fortified with calcium. This one doesn't list vitamin D as well. Vitamin D is something I would definitely recommend looking for in your plant milk as well in terms of fortification. So yeah, this overall, yes, it's a lower calorie option. But let's look at the price point. So the skim milk was $1.25. The soy milk at the time of making this video is $1.90, and the almond milk was $2. So quite a big price difference between these ones. But yeah, if you're someone who really likes almond milk, that's fine. But looking at just the comparison between, say, almond milk and skim milk, for example, a lot of people who don't necessarily need almond milk, so they don't have problems with skim milk, they just think it's a better option because it's low calorie. So yes, it's low calorie, 40 calories per cup compared to skim milk, which is 90 calories per cup. Okay, you're saving 50 calories, right? 50 calories in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. So the protein content of 1 gram compared to 9 grams is that fullness factor. So if you're gonna save 50 calories by using almond milk, but then you're gonna go and eat like 2 more snacks later because you're still hungry, is that a wise choice? So just have a think about that. If you're purely using almond milk from a calorie save perspective, most active people that I work with at a minimum, need 1,500 calories for fat loss, at a minimum. I've had most of my clients upwards of 1,800 calories and still losing fat. Okay, so 50 calories in the grand scheme of things is not a lot. So really assess your choice in terms of, like, a lot of my clients will drink a coffee as a snack and it's based on a cup of milk. You know, it's a cup of milk and a good shot of coffee in there from a cafe. If you're doing that on almond milk and it's not filling and it's not satisfying, perhaps swapping to something like a soy milk or a skim milk, which is gonna boost your protein a lot higher, is gonna keep you a lot fuller and satisfied. For only maybe 50 to 100 calories more, you're actually gonna feel full of that cup of coffee versus having your coffee on almond milk, not really feeling full or satisfied, and then going and having to have another 1 or 2 snacks later, which is an extra couple of 100 calories compared to just 50. I hope that makes sense. Nothing against almond milk. I personally don't like the taste of it, but if you do, that's absolutely okay. It can be a good option, but just keep things in perspective in terms of, yes, this might be our lowest calorie milk, but it doesn't necessarily always make it the best choice in terms of calories. It's really up to you and your lifestyle. So that is almond milk. All right, guys, next up is macadamia nut milk. So I actually picked up a brand that was a barista-friendly one because I know a lot of people will get their plant-based milks out at coffee shops when they're out and about, and a lot of the cafes tend to use the barista-style milks because they froth and they foam a lot better. It's just a more enjoyable experience in terms of making your coffee. So I wanted to give you guys a barista-style type. So this is the Australia's Own brand that I picked up. In terms of, again, a cupful, we've got 75 calories for a cup, so fairly low calorie. We've got 1.2 grams of protein per cup, very low protein. This one's gluten-free. We've got 4.7 grams of fat, so a little bit higher in terms of some of the other milks that we've looked at. It has got 4 grams of sugar, which isn't too bad, and it's got... Okay, so this one isn't fortified with anything. So you'll see from the nutrition label, I'm not sure if you can see that, guys, but it doesn't have any fortification in terms of calcium or vitamin D. So from a general health perspective, this is not going to be one of my favorite milks. Occasionally, if you're buying a coffee out at a coffee shop once a week, not too bad. But if this is the milk that you're choosing daily or multiple times a day, just bear in mind that if you're really not eating other dairy products at all, you're really going to need to work hard on getting that calcium and vitamin D from other sources. Of course, our best source of vitamin D is from the sunlight, but still a lot of people are working indoors all day long. And so vitamin D deficiency is a very real thing. So just be wary of that. I always do recommend, if you're going to get a milk, make sure it is fortified with enough calcium and vitamin D. Now this brand of milk, no real health claims on there besides the gluten-free, which is fine. In terms of the ingredient list, remember I said we really want as minimal ingredients as possible. We've got water, we've got macadamias, 2.5%. So this litre of macadamia milk has 2.5% macadamias. What's the rest of it? It's mostly water. You're basically paying, this brand of milk was $4.50. Guys, you're paying $4.50 for about 95% water. Bear that in mind. You've also got sugar, you've got vegetable protein, you've got maltodextrin from corn, you've got some acidity regulators, some vegetable gums, and some sunflower, lecithin, and some salt. It's a very expensive water. I hope it does taste good. I will let you guys know. I'll get back to you. But in terms of calories, 75 calories per cup. Pretty good on average. Very low protein, a little bit higher in fat because obviously macadamia is a nut base, so a little bit higher in fat than some of our other milks. The sugar is really good. 4 grams of sugar is pretty good. But again, the downside of this, I would say, is the zero fortification and also a couple more ingredients in there than we would like in terms of looking for more of like a whole food product. So that one is the barista style macadamia milk. Next, we have oat milk, and I picked this one up because one of my good friends, Kat, actually drinks it. So I hope you're watching this, Kat. This is the one that she really likes. So this one is certified organic and made from 84% Australian ingredients. We have also got no claims in terms of like gluten-free or anything like that. There we go, cholesterol-free, vegan, and Australian owned. Okay, so for those of you looking for like a brand that is Australian owned and used ingredients, this one's a good one. Now let's look at the actual nutrition information panel. Again, unless you specifically need these things, like you need a vegan milk or you want a milk that's made in Australia, a lot of this is just marketing. Don't look at this in terms of health claims on the front. Turn it over and actually read the ingredient list and the nutrition panel. So in terms of our ingredients, we've got filtered water. Remember, ingredients are listed in terms of the amounts found in the product. So the top ingredients always have the most amount. The lesser ingredients at the end of the ingredient list is the smallest amount. So the first ingredient is filtered water. The largest amount in this milk is water. Then we've got followed by organic whole oats, 15%. So this milk is mostly water with 15% oats. A lot better than our 2% of macadamias, still. Then we've got organic sunflower oil, we've got some calcium carbonate, some sea salt, and we've got a calcium source. So this mentions that it contains oats. So if you are someone that has celiac disease, diagnosed celiac disease, this is not an okay choice for you. So in Australia, we recommend that no celiacs have oats, including oat milk, unless you have done an oat challenge with your gastroenterologist and have had biopsies to prove that it is safe for you to consume oats. So for this milk, a cup of it is going to give you 593 kilojoules, which is around 140 calories. 140 calories, so that's a little bit more than quite a lot of our other milks. When you think about the almond milk was 40 calories, the soy milk I think was around 110, the skim milk was 90, and the macadamia milk was 75 calories. So this is kind of nearly double some of our other milks. So from a calorie perspective, it's quite high. Protein, 4.5 grams per cup. It's actually pretty good in terms of protein for an oat-based milk. Fat is 4.6 grams. That's fine. Sugar is 9.3 grams. So again, a little bit higher, but of course, because oats are carbohydrates and sugars are carbohydrates as well. So a milk based on carbohydrates is always going to have more sugar. A milk based on fat, like macadamia milk, is going to have less sugar because it's based on fat, not a carbohydrate. And then we have also got 300 milligrams of calcium, so great that it's fortified with calcium. And there's a little bit of fiber in this milk as well, which I wouldn't really be looking at milk for a fiber content. Traditionally, most milks don't really have much fiber, but because this has got 15% oats in it, it has a little bit of fiber in it. But I wouldn't really consider looking at the fiber in terms of the nutrition panels of your milks as something that I would do. I'd definitely be getting my fiber intake from other products throughout my diet, definitely not milk. So overall, this milk is a lot higher in calorie. It's medium protein. It's a little bit higher in sugar, but that's to be expected because it's based on oats. And it's got good calcium fortification. So overall, that is something that if you like the taste of it, if you need a plant-based milk that is organic and GMO free, then this could be a good choice for you. And in terms of cost, this one was $2.80. So we'll run through the cost of the skim milk was $1.25, the soy milk was $1.90, the almond breeze was $2, the macadamia barista was our highest at $4.50, and then we've got our pure harvest oat milk, which was $2.80. All right, next I picked up some rice milk. So I've gone with the Macro Organic, certified organic brand. Again, a lot of this is just marketing. If you don't need it, I'd very much recommend you turn over to the nutrition information panel and actually work out for yourself whether this is a great option. So this is a vegan milk. It is also fortified, which is again important. So where is our ingredient list? We've got filtered water, organic brown rice, 14%. Again, about very similar to what our oat milk was, a lot higher than some of our nut milks. And then we've also got, it's got sunflower oil and some mineral salt and also some sea salt in there and a bit of calcium carbonate. So again, this is fortified, so it's good. It's got 200 grams of calcium per cup, which is around 25% of the RDI or the recommended daily intake for adults in terms of calcium served each day. So 1 cup is going to give you a quarter of an adult's calcium recommendations for a standard healthy adult. It has got 137 calories per cup. We've got 1.5 grams of protein per cup, very low protein. We've got 3 grams of fat, quite low fat, which is fine. We've got 9 grams of sugar, which is comparable to some of our other milks, which is totally fine as well. So yeah, this is rice milk. Again, if it's something that you like, it's your preference. Definitely choose a calcium fortified one. And in terms of being a good choice, I would say it's a good choice if you're looking for a more energy dense milk. So you're actually looking to gain weight because for a cup, you've got 137 calories. So it's one of the higher calorie milks. It's very low in protein. So definitely not if your goal is like muscle gain or you're someone who gets really hungry regularly throughout the day, because the protein is just not going to have that the filling feeling that you need in terms of getting enough protein in your diet, because it makes you feel full and satiated after your meals. So definitely I would say a good milk option because it is fortified for someone who needs to gain weight, but probably not the most ideal option for someone who wants to lose weight, but definitely you could incorporate this and still lose weight, absolutely. Weight losses or fat losses around your calorie deficit for an entire day, not just what happens in a cup of milk. So absolutely can be incorporated within a healthy lifestyle if this type of milk is your preference. Alright guys, the next milk that I have picked up is a coconut milk. So I've gone for an organic coconut milk and I've gone for the unsweetened version because I really do think that most Australians on average have far too much sugar in their diet. So I think that picking up more unsweetened products is probably better for the majority of people if your goal is weight gain. If you're someone who might have a loved one that's malnourished or very underweight and your goal is to get in some quick calories, you might want to go with more a sweetened version to get in that extra sugar and that extra calories. Now, we have got a certified organic milk. So if you're looking for an organic product and that's your thing, then that is a good option. We have also got our ingredient list, which is filtered water. We've got organic coconut cream, 7.5%. We've got salt, some stabilizers, and that's our ingredient list. So not too many things there. A lot of these milks do have some stabilizers in them to make them shelf stable, that sort of thing. And a little bit of just things like salt, as well. And a lot of our plant-based milks are traditionally mostly water because that just makes up the volume of the milk essentially. So this one is 7.5% coconut cream. So I imagine the fat content will be quite high in this one based on it being coconut cream. So, and coconut is a fat source as well. So per cup, we've got 45 calories. So this is actually quite low calorie per cup. So very comparable to our unsweetened almond milk, which is only 40 calories per cup. So from a calorie perspective, these two guys are our lowest in terms of calories, the ones that I picked up today per cup. So this is 45 calories. This has got 0.3 grams of protein per cup. Very low protein. So yes, these two milks are our lowest calorie milks, but they're also our lowest protein milks. So if you're someone that constantly feels hungry throughout the day, or your goal is muscle gain, or you're actually looking for a snack or a meal to actually fill you up, say if you're getting a coffee out at a cafe, actually looking for a milk with a bit of protein in it is a good idea. We've got 5 grams of fat, which is expected because coconut's a fat source. So of course we're gonna have a bit more fat than carbs in this type of milk. And we've got 0.5 grams of sugar, so very low sugar in this milk. And we do not have a milk that is fortified. So unfortunately, if this is your preference every single day for milk, you really need to work hard to get in that calcium and vitamin D in other sources from the sunlight, for your vitamin D and calcium, a lot of other different foods as well. So overall, very low calorie, very low protein, very low sugar. So yeah, could be an okay option from a calorie perspective, but from a fullness and satisfaction perspective, probably not my favorite. This is very similar to, I would say, the unsweetened almond milk. Very similar in terms of when we look at the comparisons between them. So if you're someone that likes either of these, it might just be your taste preference, which is what you choose. I would say the almond milk one is better because it has the fortification from the calcium. But if you could find an unsweetened coconut milk that also has fortification in terms of calcium and or vitamin D, I think that you would be onto a bit of a winner there as well. Probably not my favorite, but I'm sure I hope that it tastes a little bit better than the almond milk, which I'm really not a fan of. But yeah, could be a good option for you if this is your preference. Just bearing in mind that again, it's incredibly low in protein and it's not fortified. All right guys, home stretch. Last milk that I picked up is a Almond Protein Plus milk. So this is an almond milk, but what caught my eye was the fancy marketing and labeling in terms of protein plus. So this is almond milk with protein. So this is an almond milk. It's been fortified with extra protein. So it's not like a soy milk, it's not an oat milk, it's definitely an almond milk. So in terms of a cost, this brand was $4.50. So more expensive, or the most expensive milk, same as our Bristol Macadamia, $4.50, definitely not as affordable as some of our other milks. Now, what really stands out for me in terms of this milk, well, let's go through the comparison first, how I've compared all the other milks, because give it a fair go, and then I'll let you know my sort of opinion as a dietitian in terms of this milk. So it's quite an expensive milk, but in terms of a cup, when we're comparing, we've got 90 calories per serve. So that's probably moderate in terms of, between all of the milks that we've compared, 90 calories is probably in the moderate range in terms of calories. We've got 10 grams of protein. That's a whopper. That's the highest protein milk that we've studied. The next two highest would be our skim at 9 grams and our soy was 8.5 grams. So definitely the most protein, but only by a gram. Fat is 5.3 grams, so moderate amount of fat, which is fine. Sugars is 0.3 grams, so less than a gram of sugar. So very good in terms of sugar. And importantly, it's fortified with both calcium and vitamin D. We've got 38% of our RDI, which is our recommended daily intake for calcium. And we've got 12% in terms of RDI for vitamin D, which is important as well. So I like that it is fortified. I don't like that it is our most expensive milk. And in terms of, let's just give a good comparison, because because a lot of people might go, okay, protein's great for fat loss and it's great for filling. Yes, but let's not lose sight of the fact that this is a very expensive milk. So our two top most expensive milks were our Barista Macadamia at $4.50 and our Almond Protein plus Soy Milk at $4.50. Our cheapest milk was our home brand Skim Milk, $1.25. The next cheapest was our Macro Rice Milk, $1.65. And the next cheapest after that was our light soy milk at $1.90. All right, so let's compare this almond protein milk, considering, I guess, a lot of people would buy it for the protein content, right? So I wanted to compare it to the skim milk. So first off, let's do a cost. So $1.25 versus $4.50. Clear winner. Protein, 9 grams, 10 grams. A gram of protein. Yes, this is higher, but bear in mind it's only a gram. Calories, 90 calories, 90 calories. Both fortified. Higher fat, higher sugar. Kind of the same thing at the end of the day, put it that way. Maybe depending on your goals. This is a winner for me. In terms of you're looking for a good milk with protein in it and at affordable cost, there's your winner. If you don't mind paying $4.50 for a cup of almond milk with some protein in it, this is a winner. But for me, clear winner here. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, well, I drink almond milk because I have to, because I have tummy problems or I don't tolerate cow's milk, or for ethical reasons, I can't have cow's milk. Absolutely fine. Let's do a comparison in terms of something that you can have on a plant-based diet. You can have, which is gluten-free. Yes, gluten-free. So this one, in terms of soy milk, ticks all the boxes in terms of ethical, vegan, not cow's milk. And then let's do a comparison between these two. So the soy milk is $1.90. Our protein almond milk is $4.50. Clear winner. Calories, 113 calories, 90 calories. Slightly higher. Again, 23 calories high, 20 calories high, put it that way. 20 calories, that is it. I would say they're very similar in terms of calorie content. Protein, 10 grams, protein, 8.5 grams. Still a very high protein milk. Both fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Tick, tick. For the cost, in terms of this is slightly higher calories, slightly less protein, I still think overall in terms of the cost, this would be my winner. This would be my choice. So this one, not bragging on it at all, but I think it's an incredibly expensive milk for very minimal health benefits, put it that way. Yes, it's absolutely high in protein, which is great when we look at a milk, particularly for fat loss or muscle gain, but the cost is sort of the thing that does it for me. I think it's an incredibly high cost for someone, most people drink a couple of things of milk a week. So yeah, entirely up to you guys. And lastly, I am very conscious that I didn't choose a lactose-free milk. My bad, I probably should have. I think 8 milks is sort of my limit, but let me just say that lactose-free milk is basically very similar. So you can get lactose-free full cream milk or you can get lactose-free skim milk. It's basically, say lactose-free skim milk is essentially skim milk with lactase enzymes added in. So if you have problems tolerating dairy, but your preference would be something with higher protein and moderate calories, which tastes good in my opinion, I would get a lactose-free skim milk. Or your choice would be soy milk as well. But you can also do any of these plant milks, but be wary that just because you can't tolerate dairy doesn't mean that you can't have any cow's milk. Lactose-free milk is basically cow's milk with lactase enzymes added in there to help your body digest the milk. So lactose-free milk is a very real option and a very good option for a lot of people who purely just don't have normal skim or normal full cream milk from a digestion perspective. Lactose-free milk is a great option, and nutritionally it would be very similar to a skim milk or a full cream milk, depending on which one you picked up, the lactose-free skim or the lactose-free full cream milk. I just didn't grab it today because, yeah, nutritionally it is very similar to skim or full cream milk. Alrighty guys, so that is my product review of the milks. So I hope that you got some useful content out of it. I hope that you remember that when we're comparing similar volumes of milk and comparing similar products overall. Take into account the price because it's a very real thing for a lot of people. Take into account your own personal requirements of having a milk. Are you someone that has a sensitive tummy? Are you someone that taste is a real big thing for them? Do you struggle to eat enough protein in your actual diet? Would you like a milk that's higher in protein? For some reason, you might need a lower protein diet. So some of these plant-based milks might be a better option for you. Ethically, you might want more of a plant-based milk. You might have allergies and intolerances in your family. You might have celiac disease. You might need a milk that is certified gluten-free. So there are many different reasons that we might choose a milk. No milk here is better than any other type of milk. They're all different for different people. I've recommended most of these types of milks to different clients in the past. So it's really around what you need and what suits your requirements. For a healthy individual, I would be more inclined to recommend just like a standard full cream or a standard skim milk, because from a cost perspective, that's fine. For somebody who might have a little bit of troubles digesting, you could have a lactose-free or you could have a soy milk. For someone who wants a lower calorie milk, you'd be more inclined to pick your unsweetened almond or your unsweetened soy. The lowest sugar milk, I do believe, was probably one of our almond or our coconut, I think. One of our fat-based milks would be the lowest sugar ones. The lowest fat-based milks would be probably one of more the carbohydrate-based ones, so the skim or the oat milk, I would say. Yeah, so you've got a whole different variety. No milk is essentially better. They've all got different pros and cons, I guess, to them, but definitely make sure it's not essential, but fortification of milk is very important, especially if you're someone that drinks milk every day. If you just put this much milk in your coffee and you have a coffee once or twice a week, the fortification of it probably doesn't really matter. But if you're someone who has 1 or 2 coffees a day, plus you use milk in your cereal, or you might just have a glass as a snack, fortification of it probably becomes a little bit more important, particularly if you're actively trying to lose fat because you're in a calorie deficit. So the amount of nutrients you might get in might not be as ideal as if you were eating back at your maintenance or actively eating some more calories to get in more nutrients. So just think about all of those things as well when we think about picking the best type of milk. And of course, to me, taste is so incredibly important as well. So try a different range of a couple of the different milks. Don't force yourself to drink a milk that you think is better health-wise that you actually hate the taste of. So I think taste is an incredibly important thing to consider. And I can't really comment on taste because I haven't tried probably 50% of these milks, but we're all different. So what I think might taste great is probably going to be different to what you think might taste great. So maybe sample a few of them and see what you enjoy taste-wise, because enjoyment and pleasure from food is so incredibly important as well. We can't forget that. It's not all about the healthiest thing every single time as well, particularly when milk is something that a lot of us drink quite regularly. So I really do hope that you enjoyed my first product review video, and please leave me any comments below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you get notified of any new videos that I might publish for you. And the next product we're going to do is around muesli bars. So I really hope that you guys enjoy that one, and let me know any other products that you would like me to review. Obviously, I'm based in Australia, so I'm going to have real trouble accessing products around the rest of the world. So really do try to keep these either very general in terms of products or something that is Australian, because I'm not going to order products in from all around the world for you guys. Sorry, I do try my best, but I'm not going to go to that level for you guys. So I really will aim to review products that are probably mostly Australian, and hope that you guys can pick up education if you're living somewhere around the world and apply that education that I've taught you today to the different brands and products where you live somewhere around the world. All right, guys, that's it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed my video.